So, has anyone seen this book before? Has anyone read this story before? No? Okay. So it's going to be a new story for all of us? Great. Okay, so I think the council president and I can take turns reading. This book is called Make Way for Ducklings. Does anyone know what a duckling or duck says? What does a duck say? Okay. Make way for ducklings. Mr. and Mrs. Mallard were looking for a place to live. But every time Mr. Mallard saw what looked like a nice place, Mrs. Mallard said it was no good. There were sure to be foxes in the woods or turtles in the water, and she was not going to raise a family where there might be foxes or turtles. So they flew on and on.
When they got to Boston, they felt too tired to fly any further. There was a nice pond in the public garden with a little island on it. The very place to spend the night, quacked Mr. Mallard, so down they flapped. So they've got this lovely little island, so that's a good place to spend the night there. Now, next morning they fished for their breakfast in a pond at the bottom of the pond, but they didn't find much. So there were no fishies to eat. We did get breakfast in the pond. Just as they were getting ready to start on their way, a strange, enormous bird came by. It was pushing a boat full of people. Wow. And there was a man sitting in the back. Good morning, quacked Mr. Mallard, being polite. The big bird was too proud to answer, but the people on the boat threw peanuts into the water. So the mallards followed them all around the pond and got another breakfast, better than the first. Peanuts for breakfast. Here you go.
This is the swan boat. Boston is very famous for our swan boats, and you can still go ride on them in Boston. I like this place, said Mrs. Mallard, as they climbed out on the bank and waddled along. Why don't we build a nest and raise our ducklings right in this pond? There are no foxes and no turtles, and the people feed us peanuts. What could be better? Good, said Mr. Mallard, delighted that at last Mrs. Mallard had found a place that suited her. But look out, squawked Mrs. Mallard. All of a dither. You'll get run over. And when she got her breath, she added, this is no place for babies, with all these horrid things rushing about. We'll have to look somewhere else. What happened? What is this? What do we see here? It's a bicycle going very fast.
Very fast bicycle.
Whoa, yeah.
Good job. Good job. Thank you. So they flew over Beacon Hill and round the State House, but there was no place there. They looked in Louisburg Square, but there was no water to swim in.
Where are they going to go next? Then they flew over the Charles River. This is better, quacked Mr. Mallard. That island looks like quite a nice place, and it's only a little way from the public garden. Yes, said Mrs. Mallard, remembering the peanuts. That looks like just the right place to hatch our ducklings. So we're out in the river. So, as they chose a cozy spot among the bushes near the water and settled down to build their nest, and only just in time for now they were beginning to molt, all their old wing feathers started to drop out, and they would not be able to fly again until the new ones grew. So there they are at the bridge.
Oh,
The bridge has got a nice little cozy spot.
that's an oyster bridge. That's so cool.
But of course they could swim. And one day they swam over to the park on the riverbank, and there they met a policeman called Michael. Michael fed them peanuts, and after that the mallards called on Michael every day. That's a very kind police officer, wasn't he? He brought peanuts for them. Yeah?
He's feeding the ducks.
See them? You gonna help me with the page? Yeah, that's the policeman. He's bringing them peanuts. After Mrs. Mallard had laid her 8 eggs in the nest, she couldn't go to visit Michael anymore because she had to sit on her eggs and keep them warm. She moved off the nest only to get a drink of water or to have her lunch or to count the eggs and make sure that they were all there. So she's counting the eggs. See how many eggs she has? 8. Don't count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's a lot of eggs. Okay, I'm gonna add it back.
Ruby and Sylvie, can you come sit in your seats, please? Yeah, can you sit in your spot?
One day,
Like, Sylvie goes,
the ducklings hatched out. Let's finish this page first. First came Jack, then Cat, then Lack, then Mac, and Knack, and Uack, and Pack, and Quack. Mr. and Mrs. Mallard were bursting with pride. It was a great responsibility, taking care of so many ducklings, and it kept them very busy. Good job. One day, Mr. Mallard decided he'd like to take a trip to see what the rest of the river was like, further on. So, off he set. I'll meet you in a week in the public garden. He quacked over his shoulder. Take good care of the ducklings. Don't you worry, said Mrs. Mallard. I know all about bringing up children. And she did. She taught them how to swim and dive. She taught them how to walk in a line, to come when they were called, and to keep a safe distance from bikes and scooters and other things with wheels. When at last she felt perfectly satisfied with them, she said one morning, "Come along, children, follow me." Before you could wink an eyelash, Jack, Cat, Lack, Mac, Knack, Uack, Pack, and Quack fell into line, just as they had been taught. Mrs. Mallard led the way into the water, and they swam behind her to the opposite bank.
So they went over to the opposite bank, where they waded ashore and waddled along till they came to the highway.
Sit on our car.
All the cars on it, see, they're on the highway. All from this morning.
What's on the highway?
Mrs. Mallard stopped to cross the road. Honk went the horns of the single cars. Quack, 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 quack. When Mrs. Mallard, as she tumbled back again. Quack, 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 quack. When Jack, Knack, Lack, Mac, and Knack. Quack, quack, and quack, just as loud as their little quackers could quack. The cars kept speeding by and honking, and Mrs. Mallard and the ducklings kept right on quacking, quacking, quacking. They really were wanted to get across the road, and the cars were coming very fast. Uh-oh. They made so much noise that Michael came running waving his arms and blowing his whistle. And Michael's their friend who gave them the peanuts, the police officer, and he's coming to help them. He came running and he planted himself at the center of the road, raising one hand to stop the traffic, and then backward, and then beckoned to the other policeman. Sorry, I beg your pardon, I'm doing this wrong. He planted himself at the center of the road, raised one hand to stop the traffic, and then beckoned with the other, the way policemen do, and Mrs. Mallard was able to cross the road.
I got my own book. Yeah, I'll do the next page.
As soon as Mrs. Mallard and the Ducklings were safe on the other side and on their way Mount Vernon Street, way down Mount Vernon Street, Michael rushed back to his police boat.
Michael called Clancy at headquarters and said, "There's a family of ducks walking down the street." Clancy said, "Family of what?" "Ducks," yelled Michael. "Send a police car, quick." They wanted to help the ducks. They needed some help crossing. Meanwhile, Mrs. Mallard had reached the corner bookstore. Meanwhile, Mrs. Mallard had reached the corner bookshop and turned into Charles Street with Jack, Cack, Lack, Mac, Knack, Uack, Pack, and Quack all marching in a line behind her. See all the duckies walking? Everyone stared. An old lady from Beacon Hill said, "Isn't it amazing?" And the man who swept the street said, "Well now, ain't that nice?" And when Mrs. Mallard heard them, she was so proud. She tipped her nose in the air and walked along with an extra swing in her waddle. When they came to the corner of Beacon Street, there was a police car with 4 policemen that Clancy had sent from headquarters. The policemen held back the traffic so Mrs. Mallard and the Ducklings could march across the street. Can anyone do what the policeman was doing? Stop cars so the Ducklings can come. And they waddled right on into the public garden.
Inside the gate, they all turned around to say thank you to the policeman. And the policeman smiled and waved, "Goodbye, goodbye." When they reached the pond and swam across to the little island, there was Mr. Mallard waiting for them, just as he had promised. So we were back into the pond. Mr. Mallard The Ducklings liked the new island so much that they decided to live there. All day long, they follow the swan boats and eat peanuts. Nice thing to do.
They're eating more peanuts.
Yum, yum, yum. Lots of peanuts. You want to finish up the last one?
Okay. And when night falls, they swim to their little island and go to sleep. The end. Thank you for reading for us.
Yeah, thank you, Mary.
So, this week we have a special story time all across the city where at every single library our families and kids get to hear this book and then go home with this book too. So, and we want you to know that everything that you saw in this book you can go and see in Boston. You can ride on the swan boats, you can see the ducklings, you can see Jack, Cack, Black, Mac, Knack, Whack, Pack, Quack, all in a row. And I want to thank also the president of all of the Boston Public Libraries, Mr. David Leonard, who is here. Mr. David, would you like to say anything?
Did you have fun?
Yes.
Did you learn about all the ducks?
Yeah.
And
When someone wins something, what do we generally do for them? Clap, right? And so our mayor just won a huge competition to be our mayor for 4 more years. And our councillor, Liz, is now head of the city council for the next 2 years. So thank you for being here. Thank you, yes. And we want to thank the mayor and our council president for joining us and reading to us about ducks and a policeman who steps in just at the right time. And all of the ducks are a happy family. So thank you.
Thank you so much for coming to our libraries, and thank you for all that you do for our city. Thank you for helping.